Hi, I'm Tim Stevenson. I've been asked to talk on the subject of self-maintenance for those in the serving professions. This is something very close to my heart because I have been involved in some form of serving for 40 years in my career. One thing I've learned is the importance of maintaining myself so I can be at my best for others, and that's going to be our subject today, therefore. So, I'm going to share 3 tools in 3 little parts, things that you can learn and begin to practice, but these will be assignments that you can take and work on your own for some time to come, and I hope periodically revisit to see if you need an adjustment. Okay, so let's move to our first tool. It's called Support Mountain. It's a Sherpa coaching tool that I use with all my individual coaching clients. I'm going to draw a simple representation of it here. So if you visualize this mountain, it has 3 zones to it, and each one of those is important for maintaining yourself. Now, I'm just going to put a single word in each one of these zones. First one is what. The middle zone, we're going to put who. And the top zone, we're going to put where. We call this Support Mountain because, in essence, is a 3D view of your self-maintenance system, which every high performer actually needs in order to function over the long haul. So let's start with what. What do you put down here? The question is, what activities do you do that bring about recharging, refreshing, re-energizing? These could be things like reading, watching TV or movies, exercising. In fact, anything that does that for you, it's very individual. You know, I tell clients that if flying on a trapeze relaxes you and re-energizes you, fly away. I like an old military motto, which is, if it's stupid but works, it isn't stupid. So find out what works for you. So you might have here reading, exercising, then be specific about what you like to do. Then you might take a nap. Taking a walk, those kinds of things, but think activities in this zone. Then you move to the middle zone. We call this the extrinsic zone as opposed to the intrinsic zone. The extrinsic is about what people in your life can you go to if you need advice, encouragement, help, comfort, accountability if you want it. And so in this zone, you would write people's names. And these names can be personal or professional in terms of the relationships. But these are people who contribute to you as part of your support system. Finally, the where zone, or the environmental one, this is the one that usually surprises people. They haven't thought about places being important to them. But the issue is where in your life, what locations are places for you of rest, relaxation, peace, sanctuary, safety. These can be anything as specific as a chair in a certain room in your house. It can be a park bench. I have clients tell me it's the mall. They like to go to the mall as a place to relax. Or their car as they drive to and from work. But again, it's having places you can go where you can rest and recharge. Now, once you've done this little analysis, you step back and look, and there's 2 major questions. Number 1, what do you see? Like, for example, are there any missing pieces that stand out to you? I remember one woman I was coaching a number of years ago, a very high-powered director-level executive. She filled in the middle and the top in just minutes. The bottom zone was absolutely empty, and she stopped dead, looking at this paper going, I don't do anything for me. Everything I do is for other people. And we didn't resume our conversation for several minutes as she just pondered that thought. And that's when she decided to make some major changes. Now you'll find that this is fairly common, really, with people in serving professions. Because if that's the kind of work you've chosen, it's because you care about other people, you want to contribute to others, you want to serve. And I applaud that. I believe in that. However, let me ask this question, though. What good are you going to be serving others if you break down in the process? And so I tell people, even if your top value is serving others, take care of yourself so you can be at your best for others. I've had two people, individuals that I've coached, who filled in the top and the bottom fairly easily, and that middle zone was empty. And I remember one woman saying to me, who actually was the chief financial officer of a company, I don't have anyone in my life. And if that's the case, as she did, it's time to think about that and decide what changes you want to make. Most of us aren't going to do well. However, most of the people I work with, and I've done this with hundreds of people, have no trouble filling in that sheet. But then I ask the second question, how are you doing work in your system? And I've had people say to me more times than I could count, I haven't done anything on this page in 6 months. Well, then the natural question is, how are you going to continue? How are you going to continue to function at a high level if that's the case? I don't believe you will. And so you come to the question of why don't people make these kinds of decisions to take care of themselves? Well, one is busyness, because they just get into the current of their work on a daily basis and they get swept away. And since they don't plan for time to take care of themselves, they don't do it. The second reason I find very commonly is guilt. And let's just be honest. An awful lot of people feel guilty about doing things just for themselves. And I think you should challenge that if that's the way you're thinking. And if you come back and say, nah, but I'm all about serving others, I say great. But if you want to be at your best for others, you take care of yourself. It's like saying, well, I want to drive to the beach. My car needs oil and grease and water, but I don't have time for that. I have hundreds of miles to drive. How far do you think the car is going to go? It's not going to. And so neither will you and I if we don't learn to take care of ourselves. So do this analysis and then decide what decisions you need to make.